NIAS Kavya Lab. It is organized by Consciousness Studies program by the National Institute of Advanced Studies. So for the initial remarks, I would like to welcome Dr. Sangeeta Menon. She is the Dean of Humanities School. So ma'am, if you could please speak.
All right. Namaste and good evening. My name is Sangeeta Menon. Before being the Dean of the School of Humanities of the National Institute of Advanced Studies, I'm a poet, an artist, and a sincere seeker of beauty, collective awareness, and being healthy. So at this times of the pandemic, our idea through the Kavya Lab is to bring to all of you a beautiful evening and share the beauty all of us have inside us and spend some time in absolute bliss. And you would have noticed that this time we have increased the security measures for your own entry. And I do know some of the faces who are very familiar, who attend almost all our programs. Still, we have kept the same guideline without exception to all, that unless you have sent an email and unless we have verified your identity, unfortunately, you may have to stay in the waiting room. To reduce the time spent in the waiting room is to send an email to us, clearly stating who you are and from where you are. And why we do this? We do this because we are your Dwara Palakas. It is our duty to protect you when you spend a great, beautiful time in this online space and platform. So please allow us, the NIAS CSP team, to be your Dwara Palakas, to be your watchmen for this evening and perhaps the next days to come as well. I also wish to thank my colleague, Dr. Shankar Rajaraman, for thinking about such a beautiful event in such a complex manner. It's so simple and accessible to all, and also ably assisted by Meera Kumar Menon and Preet Kona, again my friends. Today, Niharika Sharma will be your host. She will be your host means she, along with me, will make sure that you will have a pleasant time today. Thank you, Meera.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Shankar Rajaraman, who is an allopathic doctor by profession, but also a Sanskrit poet and scholar. He is a postdoctoral fellow at National Institute of Advanced Studies, working with the Consciousness Studies program. So he is one of the main people who have conceptualized Kavya Lab for us. So Shankar sir, if you could please speak a little bit about Kavya Lab.
Yeah. Thank you, Meera. Hope I am audible. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, ma'am, for those initial remarks. Thank you, Meera, for introducing us to and making initial comments about Kavya Lab. Kavya Lab, as you all know, is dedicated to the appreciation and understanding of multilingual poetry in all its forms. The Indian tradition has always valued the Desha Bhashas, the vernaculars, and poetry composed in these vernaculars. To make comment on this, the Kashmiri poet Shemendra, in his Kavikantha Bharana, which is a manual for upcoming poets, writes, Geeteshu Gathas Vatha Desha Bhasha Kavyeshu Dadyat Saraseshu Karnam. One should always listen to the beautiful poetry that is composed in the Desha Bhashas. And Indians have always prided in being multilingual. And yet another Kashmiri poet, Bilhana, says, Yatra Strinam Apikimaparam Janma Bhasha Vadeva Pratyavasam Vilasati Vacha Sanskritam Prakritancha. Speaking about his native place, Pravarapura in Kashmir, he says, women in each household could speak 3 languages, their Janma Bhasha, that is Kashmiri, Sanskrit, as well as Prakrits, the various Prakrits, fluently. Our first Vaivitya and Vaishishthya sessions have received very good reception from the community of Rasikas. And the video recordings have also been put on YouTube. Professor Arindam Chakravarti, who is a very great scholar of Indian and Western philosophy and who is also a Sanskrit poet, he shall be speaking in one of these upcoming events. He has sent us a verse in the 15-syllable Malini meter. So by 15 syllable, I mean each line of this meter contains 15 letters. And he wants this verse to be read during our session. And the verse is as follows. Iyamati Shubhapricha Kakkavi Kinchakavyam Ka iti Vidita Nama Swatmarama Swayambhuhu Sakala Kavi Varenyaha Pranabhat Sarvajantoho Udayati Taranokhe Pashya Devasya Kavyam. It is a very auspicious question. What is that question? Who is a poet? And also another question, what is poetry? The word kaha in Sanskrit means who, but the word kaha also refers to the self-caused first being, the Parabrahman. So the question kaha kavihi, who is the poet, itself has an answer embedded in it. So the poet says that self-caused first being who is known by the name kaha, who, the one who plays with and enjoys his own self, he is the foremost and the most celebrated poet, for he holds the life breath of all living beings. The second question is as to what is poetry, and as to what is poetry, the poet says, Udayati Taranokhe Pashya Devasya Kavyam. As the sun rises in the sky, look at the sky and see the poetry of this God. Here you can remember the Vedic saying, Pashya Devasya Kavyam na mamara najiryati. So the poet has based this line on this Vedic chant. Before we actually go to the poets who shall be reading out their poems this evening, I would like to make 3 comments, 3 points. We are roping in more and more poets in languages other than English and Hindi. So we have a wide coverage. We want both contemporary as well as traditional poetry to be heard through our platform. And we are also planning to have sessions on allied art forms, because Kavya Lab is not just devoted to Kavya, but also to art forms that are related to Kavya, such as music and dance. But poetry shall always be our guiding light. So these are some important points I had to make. These points have been implemented actually, as will be clear when we listen to the poets who shall be reading out their poems today. I request now Preet to please introduce the poets and start today's session.
Namaskara. Thank you so much, Doctor, for the wonderful introduction. We have multilingual poets with us on board today. I'm very happy and excited to introduce all of them to you. The first poet would be L.P. Kumar. L.P. Kumar is a science graduate. He's given many literary programs in All India Radio Bengaluru. He's brought out 2 collections of his poems and third one of 70 poems in progress, and a recipient of silver medal from WWF Nature India. Welcome you, sir. The next poet would be Manas Chhabra. Manas Chhabra is an independent researcher working in the areas of football, technology, and learning for grassroots programs. He believes in poetry and its very manifestation in every existence, experience, moment, and creation of life. Language holds no barrier in the minds when conversations curated in gaps of silence are poetry. Following this would be Neelakantha Kulkarni. Sir is a computer science engineer. His interests lie in Indian classical music, fine arts, and keen interest in Kannada and Sanskrit literature. He's been writing prose and poetry, which include few Lalita Prabandhas and 2 Hale Kannada or classical Kannada style kavyas, namely Ganga Tarangini and Shuddha Suparniyam. And we have Mr. Ranjan Kamath. He is an independent filmmaker and performance arts practitioner over the last 3 decades, designing programs that unleash the power and potential of the story. So we have arranged them alphabetically. Mr. L.P. Kumar and Neelakantha Kulkarni would be reciting poems in Kannada, and Manas Chhabra in English and in Hindi, and Mr. Ranjan in English. I request all the poets to optimally use the allotted 10 minutes, and over to you. I would request Mr. L.P. Kumar to start the evening. Thank you.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಸರ್? ಹಲೋ,
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ.
ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಉನ್ನತ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡೀಸ್ ಕಾವ್ಯಾಲಾಪ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಕವನ ವಾಚಿಸುವಂತಹ ಗೌರವವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿರುವ ಕಾವ್ಯಾಲಾಪದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ರೂವಾರಿಗಳಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಂಕರ್ ರಾಜಾರಾಮ್, ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಸಂಗೀತಾ ಮೆನನ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಸಮಿತಿಯ ಸದಸ್ಯರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ, ಹಾಗೂ ನನ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದಯುತ ನಿಕಟ ಸಂಪರ್ಕವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಸಹಕರಿಸಿದಂತ ಶ್ರೀ ಪ್ರೀತ್ ಕೋನರ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅನಂತ ವಂದನೆಗಳು. ಈಗ ನನ್ನ ಕವನದ ಶೀರ್ಷಿಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಹೃದಯ ಅಂಗಾಂಗಗಳೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಮಯ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಈ ಸಮಯ ಎಂದರೇನು? ಇದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಪರಿಚಯ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು? ಅನಿರೀಕ್ಷಿತ ಆಘಾತಗಳನ್ನು ಒಡ್ಡಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಎಚ್ಚರಿಸಿ ಸನ್ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಪರಿಮೇಯ ಅಪರಂಪರ ಪಾರಿತೋಷಕಗಳನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಬದುಕನ್ನು ಉಲ್ಲಸಿತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಸೀಮಾ ಪುರುಷನೇ ಈ ಸಮಯ. ಹೌದು, ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ತನ್ನ ಒಡಲಲ್ಲಿ ಗರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಸೀಮ ಅರ್ಥ ಭಾವಗಳನ್ನು ಹುದುಗಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡಿರುವ ಸ್ನಿಗ್ಧ ಸಿರಿ ಎಂದರೆ ಈ ಸಮಯ. ಈ ಅಗೋಚರ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ವಿಸ್ತಾರ, ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿ, ಎಲ್ಲೆ, ಸ್ತರಗಳು ವರ್ಣನಾತೀತ. ಈಗ ಸಮಯ ಎಷ್ಟಾಯಿತು ಎಂದರೆ ಅದು ವೇಳೆಯನ್ನು ಸೂಚಿಸುತ್ತದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ನನ್ನ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತನಾದ ನೀನು ಎಂತಹ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತ ಅಥವಾ ಎಂತಹ ನೆಂಟ ಎಂದಾಗ ಆ ಸಮಯವೆಂಬುದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂದಿಗ್ಧತೆಯ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಯಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನನ್ನ ಬಾಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮಯ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನು ಸದುಪಯೋಗಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆಂದು ನನ್ನ ಬಾಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಹ ಸಮಯ ಬರಲು ಕಷ್ಟ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಎಂದಾಗ ಇದು ಸಮಯವೆಂಬುದು ಒಂದು ಅವಕಾಶ ಅಥವಾ ಅದೃಷ್ಟ ಎಂದು ಬಿಂಬಿತವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರದ ಅಮಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಹಂಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ, ದರ್ಪದಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನ ಕೆಳಗಿರುವವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಂಕಟವನ್ನು ವಿಧಿಸಿದಾಗ, ಅವರನ್ನು ಅನ್ಯಾಯದಿಂದ ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಆ ನೊಂದ ಹೃದಯಗಳು ಹೇಳುವ, ಇವನು ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಇರುತ್ತದೋ, ಇವನಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಸಮಯ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ ಎನ್ನುವ ನುಡಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಅವನ ಅವನತಿಯ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಹಾಗೂ ಅವನ ಈ ಲೋಕದಿಂದ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ವಿರಮಿಸುವಂತಹ ಕಾಲ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಸಾವು ಮರಣ ಎಂಬುದಾಗಿ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು, ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಸಹಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಸಮಯ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಿಂದ ನುಣಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಹರಕೆಯ ಕುರಿಯನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕುತ್ತಿರ್ತೇವೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಸಮಯ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಫಲರಾದಾಗ ನಾವು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳುವುದು, ನನಗೆ ಸಮಯದ ಅಭಾವವಿತ್ತು, ಕೊರತೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಇನ್ನು ಕೊಂಚ ಸಮಯ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದರೆ ನಾನು ಅದರ ಕಥೆಯೇ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗುತ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಬಹಳ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ಎಂದು ಸಮಯದ ಮೇಲೆ ದೂಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇವೆ, ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಕೆ ಕುರಿಯನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ಸಮಯದ ಕೈವಾಡ ಅಷ್ಟಿಷ್ಟಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನೂ ತುದಿಗಾಲಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿ ತನ್ನ ಬೆರಳ ತುದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡಿಸುವಂತಹ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಶೂರ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾದಾಗಲಿಂದ ಸಂಪುಟ ರಚನೆಯಾಗುವವರೆಗೆ ಆ ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿಗಳ ತಳಮಳ, ಕುತೂಹಲ, ಗೊಂದಲ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಸಿಕೊಂಡರೆ ಈ ಸಮಯದ ಕೈವಾಡ ಅರ್ಥವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದೇ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀತಿ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ 2020 ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಓವರ್, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬಾಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ 6 ರನ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಆಗುವ ಆ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೊಂದು ಅವಿಸ್ಮರಣೀಯ ಘಟನೆ, ಎಂದೆಂದಿಗೂ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿಯತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಮಯ ಕೂಡಿ ಬರಬೇಕು ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಒಂದು ಜನಜನಿತವಾದ ಮಾತಿದೆ. ಏನಿದರ ಅರ್ಥ? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಸಿರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವೇ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿದ್ಧತೆಗಳು ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲ ತಯಾರಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಿದ್ಧರಿದ್ದರು, ಆದರೆ ಸಮಯ ಕೂಡಿ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಮಯ ಇಂದು ಕೂಡಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಸುಗಮವಾಗಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಿದೆ, ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಇನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪಕ್ಷಾತೀತವಾಗಿ, ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತವಾಗಿ, ಧರ್ಮಾತೀತವಾಗಿ ಸಮಾನವಾಗಿ ದೊರೆತಿರುವ ಅಸಾದೃಶ ಅನರ್ಘ್ಯ ರತ್ನವೆಂದರೆ ಈ ಸಮಯ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ವಿವೇಕದಿಂದ, ಜಾಣ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಸದುಪಯೋಗಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಬದುಕಲ್ಲಿ ಸಫಲರಾಗಿ ಆದರ್ಶ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಾಗಿ ರಾರಾಜಿಸುವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂದೇಹವಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಸಮಯದ 1 ಗಂಟೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, 1 ನಿಮಿಷವಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಷಣ, 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡಿನ ಬೆಲೆಯನ್ನು ಅರಿಯಬೇಕಾದರೆ ನಾವು ಶೌಚಾಲಯದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಸರದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿರುವ ಅಸಹನೀಯ, ದಯನೀಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಚಿತ್ರವನ್ನು ಕಣ್ಮುಂದೆ ತಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷವೂ ಜುಲೈ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ, ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷವೂ 28 ಸಂಜೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆ 6 ಗಂಟೆ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. ಆದರೆ 2020ನೇ ಇಸವಿ ಜುಲೈ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. 3 ಲೋಕದ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಪಿಸಿದರೂ ಆ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಪಟ್ಟು ಹೋಯಿತು, ಸಮಯ ಬರುವುದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅನವಶ್ಯಕವಾಗಿ ಸಮಯ ಹರಣ ಮಾಡುವುದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಿವೇಕದಿಂದ ಸಮಯ ಪಾಲನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ಸಮಯ ಪರಿಪಾಲನೆಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಈ ಸಮಯ ಪರಿಪಾಲನೆಯನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಪೂಜನೀಯ ವ್ರತದಂತೆ ಉಪಾಸನೆಗೈದು ಸಾಫಲ್ಯಗಂಡು ನಿಂತಿರುವ, ಇಂದಿಗೂ ಪ್ರಜ್ವಲಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಧೀಮಂತರಿವರೆಂದರೆ ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಭಾರತ ರತ್ನ ಸರ್ ಎಂ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರು, ಆನಂತರ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಘಟನೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರು ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಸರ್ ಎಂ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರ ಭೇಟಿಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಕೋರಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಕಾರಣಾಂತರಗಳಿಂದ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರು ಕೇವಲ 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ತಡವಾಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾರೆ. ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರು 1 ನಿಮಿಷ ನೋಡಿ ಹೊರಟು ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೂ ಈ ಘಟನೆಯಿಂದ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಗಾಂಧಿಯವರು ವಿಚಲಿತರಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರ ಮೇಲೆ ವೈಮನಸ್ಸು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗೂ ತನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿಷ್ಠೆ, ತನ್ನ ಘನತೆ, ತನ್ನ ಗೌರವಕ್ಕೆ ಕುಂದುಂಟಾಗುವ ತುಚ್ಛ ಭಾವನೆಯನ್ನು ತಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬದಲಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಭೇಟಿಯನ್ನು ಬಯಸಿದರು. ಆ ಭೇಟಿಗೆ ನಿಗದಿತ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕಿಂತ 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮುಂಚೆಯೇ ಹಾಜರಿದ್ದಾರಂತೆ. ಇದು ನಾವು ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದ ಬೆಲೆ, ಗೌರವ. ಸಮಯದ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠತೆಯ ಮುಂದೆ, ಸಮಯದ ಹಿರಿತನದ ಮುಂದೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕುಬ್ಜರು, ಗೌಣರು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿ ಇನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ವ್ಯರ್ಥ ಮಾಡದೆ ನನ್ನ ಕವನ ವಾಚಿಸುವ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಕಟ್ಟಲಾಗದೋ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಲೆ, ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿ ಉನ್ನತಿ ಪಡೆಯುವುದೇ ಕಲೆ. ಸಮಯವಿಲ್ಲವೆಂಬ ಚಿಂತೆಯ ದೂಡು ಎಲೆಮನ, ಸಮಯಾನುಸಾರ ಕಾಯಕದಿ ನಡೆಸು ಜೀವನ. ಕಟ್ಟಲಾಗದೋ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬೆಲೆ, ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸಿ ಉನ್ನತಿ ಪಡೆಯುವುದೇ ಕಲೆ. ಸಮಯವಿಲ್ಲವೆಂಬ ಚಿಂತೆ ದೂಡು ಎಲೆಮನ, ಸಮಯಾನುಸಾರ ಕಾಯಕದಿ ನಡೆಸು ಜೀವನ. ಅಳಿದ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳ ಮರಳಿ ಗಳಿಸಬಹುದು, ಕಳೆದ ಒಡವೆ ವೈಡ್ಯೂರ್ಯಗಳ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಂಪಾದಿಸಲಬಹುದು. ಮೃತ ಹರಣಗೈದ ಕಾಲವ ಪುನಃ ಪಡೆಯುವ ಮಂಕೆ, ಗುರಿ ತಲುಪಲು ಇನ್ನಾದರೂ ಬಂದು ಹೋಗುವುದು ಅದು ಅದರ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ. ಇನ್ನೇಕೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬರಲೆಂದು ಸಮಯ, ಬಂದು ಹೋಗುವುದು ಅದು ಅದರ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ. ಬದುಕೊಂದು ನಿರಂತರ ಹೋರಾಟ ಸಾಹಸ, ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಮುಖಿಯಾಗುವುದು ನಿನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸ. ಆವ ಸಮಯದಿ ಆಗಮಿಸುವನೋ ಆ ಜವರಾಯ, ಕೇಳನವನು ಬೇಡಿದರೂ ಪರಿಪರಿ ನೀಡನೆಗೆ ಕೊಂಚ ಸಮಯ. ಸಮಯ ಪಾಲನೆಗೈದ ಆದರ್ಶದ ಬದುಕು ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟ, ಸಮಯವಿಲ್ಲವೆಂದಳಿದ ಬದುಕು ನಿಕೃಷ್ಟ. ಸಮಯ ಪಾಲನೆಗೈದ ಆದರ್ಶದ ಬದುಕು ಉತ್ಕೃಷ್ಟ, ಸಮಯವಿಲ್ಲವೆಂದಳಿದ ಬದುಕು ನಿಕೃಷ್ಟ. ಕಾಯುವರೇ ರವಿ ಶಶಿಯರು ಬರಿ ಬರಲೆಂದು ಸಮಯ, ಬಂದು ನೀಡುವವರು ಅವರು ನಿನಗೆ ಸಮಯ. ಕಾಯುವರೇ ರವಿ ಶಶಿಯರು ಬರಲೆಂದು ಸಮಯ, ಬಂದು ನೀಡುವವರು ಅವರು ನಿನಗೆ ಸಮಯ. ರಾಮ ಸೋದರ ಮೂರ್ಛೆ ಪಂದಲ್, ಕಾದನೆ ವಾಯುಪುತ್ರ ಬರಲೆಂದು ಸಮಯ. ರಾಮ ಸೋದರ ಮೂರ್ಛೆ ಪಂದಲ್, ಕಾದನೆ ವಾಯುಪುತ್ರ ಬರಲೆಂದು ಸಮಯ. ಈ ಕ್ಷಣದಿ ಎದ್ದೇಳು ಜಡತನವ ನೀಗು, ಕಠಿಣ ಪರಿಶ್ರಮದಿ ಸವೆದು ಸಿರಿತನವ ಬೀಗು. ಶರವೇಗದಿ ನಡೆವ ಜೀವನದಿ ಸಮಯವೇ ಹಣ, ಸಮಯಕ್ಕಾದವರ ಸ್ಮರಿಸಿ ತೀರಿಸಬೇಕವರ ಋಣ. ಶರವೇಗದಿ ನಡೆವ ಜೀವನದಿ ಸಮಯವೇ ಹಣ, ಸಮಯಕ್ಕಾದವರ ಸ್ಮರಿಸಿ ತೀರಿಸಬೇಕವರ ಋಣ. ಸಮಯ ಪಾಲು ಮಾಡಿದೊಡೆ ಬಾಳು ಹಾಳು, ಸಮಯವನರಿತು ಮುನ್ನಡೆಯೇ ಬಾಳು ಹಾಲು. ಸಮಯ ಪೋಲು ಮಾಡಿದೊಡೆ ಬಾಳು ಹಾಳು, ಸಮಯವನರಿತು ಮುನ್ನಡೆಯೇ ಬಾಳು ಹಾಲು. ನನ್ನ ಸಮಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದರೆ ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಇರಲಿ ಎಂದು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಕವಿತೆಯನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. Now I would request Manas Chabra to recite his poetry, and I would request Niharika to share the screen.
Hello everyone. It's good to be here. I want to start with few lines to express my gratitude. I bow to the spirit of Niyaz to celebrate the creation through words, silence, emotions, and intentions. This celebration, which I limit in the definition of poetry for now, has actually no bounds in the minds of us. Poetry to me is the manifestation of silence spurt out of the well of universe. In my case, it is often my urge. Not necessarily I imprint the imagery of truth I see, feelings within me. At times, they are selfish, earnest conversations. I am grateful to the chance of time for this union of joy, and I'm hoping to be accompanied by. Thank you very much. So I start with my first poem, which is a tribute. The title is She. She starts with red, then she touches pink. She almost holds yellow. She notices the ink. She turns for whites and she writes purple. Thank you, Niharika. The next
I think there is some network glitch. We'll just wait for a minute for Manas to come back, I think. Preet, can you just try reaching to Manas once? Okay, you're on it. Have it.
Okay, perhaps until Manas Chabra comes in, let us make use of that time. Perhaps may I request Sindhushri and Amritavalli to make their comments on Mr. Prem Kumar's poetry, if I may. Yes, Sindhushri first, please. Dr. Sindhushri from Germany.
I don't know if I'm actually equipped to make any comments, ma'am, but thank you that you think I am. Maybe Amritavalli can speak a bit, and then if she has any comments first.
Sure. Yes, Amritavalli.
Yeah. Yes, good evening to everyone. I'll express a similar sentiment. I don't think I'm worthy of expressing comments even. But I suppose as a listener, one can always share what they felt when they listened to something. So I'm not completely conversant in Kannada, so I was able to follow only a little bit. But I really like the presentation of Sir's work because his introduction covered a lot of what he was about to say in his poetry. So even if you missed some words later, you could always relate to what he was saying. And of course, the poetic, I like the rhyme. There is a rhyme in his poetry. There is, I'm not sure what the technical word for that rhyme would be, but that was catching. And I feel somewhere that he almost started to sing, especially in the second, towards the beginning. And I like the sing-song voice that came from it. So yeah, I mean, time is something everybody can relate to, the very facets of time, our experience of time. It changes as our situation changes. And I think he brought that out very nicely in his work. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. And I think still Manas Chabra is struggling to get into his connection, right, Preet?
Ma'am, he has joined, I think, but it's just taking some time to.
So let me ask Mr. Shrikanta Prasanna again, someone who has extensive experience in social work, worked in corporate, and he's silently sitting there, but I know that he will be able to say a few comments on the poetry which he has heard. Mr. Shrikanta.
Thank you for this opportunity. Like Sindhushri and Amritavalli said, I don't consider myself, eligible to make comments. Nevertheless, I can express that the poetry rendition was very touching, and the kind of words that Sir used in Kannada were very pristine, and that kind of language we rarely get to hear these days, especially as city-born people. Our Bangalore Kannada is a mixture of a lot of impure things. So you almost took us back to the origins of Kannada, I suppose, incidentally, I was just studying EVG's book, Marula Muniyana Kagga, and the Kannada that he uses there is very similar to the kind of Kannada that you use. So I was very happy to hear your deep reflections as well as the proficiency in language. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Srikandaji. I think Manas Chabra has joined back, right? Preet, Kona?
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe request if Manas ji has any problem with the internet connection, perhaps you can focus on the audio and the video can stay back. I will leave it to you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. It was a device hit up, but I'll note it. Thank you everyone for your patience. So let me resume. My second poem is Khushi. ऐ खुशी तू कितना सताती है, देख कम कम मिलती है फिर भी जताती है। कभी फूलों में दुपकती, कभी नहरों में छलकती, तू जब भी आती है चेहरों पर छाप छोड़ जाती है। ऐ खुशी तू कितना सताती है। कभी बूंदों में धुलकर तो कभी पंछी के मुंह से आवाज लगाती है, और कभी रूठे तो बचपन की यादों में ही मिल पाती है। ऐ खुशी तू कितना सताती है। सुना था तू हरे पन्नों में मिलती है, कह रहा था कोई तू सुनहरे तमगों से मिलती है, पर हर शाम तेरी खोज में गुजर जाती है। ऐ खुशी तू कितना सताती है। अब मिले तो थोड़ा देर तक रुकना, थोड़ा मैं उठा हूं, थोड़ा तू भी तो झुकना। इतनी जल्दी क्या है कि तेरी एक झलक ही मिल पाती है। ऐ खुशी तू कितना सताती है, तो उन्हीं की आंखों में मिल पाती है। Okay, I'm going to present the third one also. This is a very impromptu poem which I wrote just yesterday. So the title is Kal ke Bairi. रात भर सोच की मार सताए कि कल फिर से बैरी घुस ना जाए। बदन में धूं धूं करती हाय, फैली कीचड़ छुपाए न जाए, पर फिर भी घुट घुट कर सिमटाए। सूरज ने आज को सेक लगाई, मन से यही पुकार आए कि तुझको कह दूं, दो कदम साथ हंसकर चल दे, लड़ मत आ गले लग जा पाए। थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद मानस जी इन सुंदर कविताओं के लिए। I would request Nilakant sir to recite his poetry. Sir would also be explaining his poems in Kannada. Thank you.
Hello, namaskara. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'll be reciting verses picked from my Champu styled Khanda Kavya, which is in Alagannada. That's namely Sudha Suparniyam. It's composed in different meters. Like the portion I'm reading, the poems are composed in different meters like Utpalamala, Prithvi, Kandapadya, etc. Just to quickly narrate the context, the king of birds, what we call Garuda, to free himself from himself and his mother Vinata from the slavery imposed by Snake's mother Kadru, he flies to Swargaloka to get the Amrita. So when he took the flight, that dawn at that time, how the dawn was, that description here it goes. And going further, I will just seek the grace of Kannada to make it myself, make it easy for myself. So it's Prabhata Varnanam. Changanenegedo Tungatarangita Yogindra Chittarangadavol Banangalada Nirabhrada Nisangataya Swadakam Vihangamanolidam ಅಂತಿರಲ ವಿಹಂಗಮ ದೃಶ್ಯಮನನ್ಯಾದೃಶಮಾಗಿಸೆ ನೀರವತಾಲತಾ ಕುಸುಮಿತಂ ಪರಿರಂಜಿತಮಾತ್ಮರಕ್ತಿಯುದ್ಗಾರಮಿದಾದಿಮ ಪ್ರಸರಮೆಂದನೆ ಪೂರ್ವದೊಳೂಡುತಿರ್ದ ಕೆಂಗೀರಿನಲಾಸ್ಯಮಾದುದು ಲಯಂಗೊಳಿಸಿರ್ಪುದನೆ ಮರಳ್ಚಿ ಬಲ್ದೋರು ತುಮಿರ್ಪಕಾಳಿಯಲ ಸತ್ಸ್ಮಯಲೇಖದ ಶೋಭೆಯಾನುತಂ ಮತ್ತಮಾಪಲಚಣಂಗಳೊಳ್ ವಿಲಯ ವಿಲಾಸ ಮಹಾಮಂಡಲ ಸುಪ್ತಿಯೊಳಿರ್ದನಂತ ನಳ್ಚತ್ತು ಮಹೋಜ್ವಲ ಮಣಿಗಣದ ಫಣಾಮಂಡಲವೆತ್ತಿರ್ದಪನೆನಲ್ಕೆ ತಾಗ್ದಿಶಮೆಸೆಗುಂ ಆರಕ್ತಿಮೆ ಮಣಿವಂದ ಮುದಾರೋಜ್ವಲ ಕನಕಮಯ ಮಕುಟದಿಂಬಲು ರಂಗೇರಿ ವಿರಾಜಿಪ ಶ್ರೀಮನ್ನಾರಾಯಣನಂತೆ ಪ್ರವಿಜಗಚ್ಚ ವಿಗಾದಂ ಕೋಮಲ ರಿಷಭಂ ಷಜ್ಜದ ಭೂಮಿಕೆಯೆಂದೇಳ್ವ ತೆರದೆ ಮೂಡಣದೆರೆಯಂದೀಮಹಿ ಜೀವನ ರಾಗಂ ನೇಮಿಸುವಂತೊಯ್ಯನೊಯ್ಯನೆ ಸೊಡರ್ಪರಿಗುಂ ಅಂತಿರೆ ನಿಸರ್ಗರಮಣೀವ ಪುಃಪ್ರಸರಮಂ ಸುವರ್ಣಾಂಬುವಿಂ ಪ್ರಸೇಚಿಪಿನ ರೋಚಿಗಳ್ ಗೊದವಿಸುತ್ತು ಮಾರ್ದ್ರತ್ವಮಂ ಮಸುಳ್ದ ಪುದುಮಂಜು ಮೈಗುಡುತೆ ದುಷ್ಕರಂ ಕಾಂಬೊಡಿ ವಸುಂಧರೆಯೊಳಂ ಪರೋಪಕೃತಿಗರ್ಪಣಂ ಗೊಳ್ವರ ಗರುಡ ಉಷಕ್ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಗೆದಾಗ ಅದು ಆಕಾಶಕ್ಕೆ ನಗೆದದ್ದು ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಯೋಗಿಯ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹೇಗೆ ಒಂದು ಭೂಮಿಯ ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೌಕಿಕದ ಸ್ತರದಿಂದ ನೆಗೆದು ಮೇಲಿನ ಸ್ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೋ ಆ ತರ ಅವನು ನೆಗೆದ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಚ್ಛವಾದ ಆಕಾಶ, ನಿರಭ್ರವಾದ ಆಕಾಶ, ಅದರ ನಿಸ್ಸಂಗತೆ, ನಾನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಡಿಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಡ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆ ತರದ ಒಂದು ನಿಸ್ಸಂಗತೆಯ ಆಸ್ವಾದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ತೊಡಗಿದ ಹಾರುವ ಹೊತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆ ಹೊತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ವಿಹಂಗಮ ದೃಶ್ಯವನ್ನ ಅನ್ಯಾದೃಶವಾಗಿಸಲೆಂಬಂತೆ ಆ ಉಷಕ್ಕಾಲದ ನೀರವತೆ ಎಂಬ ಬಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅರಳಿದ ಕುಸುಮದ ಹಾಗೆ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾವಂತನೊಬ್ಬನ ಆತ್ಮರಕ್ತಿಯ ಮೊದಲ ಅಭಿವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಂತೆ ತಾನು ಲಯಗೊಳಿಸಿದ್ದನ್ನೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಕಟಪಡಿಸುವ ಕಾಳಿಯ ಮಂದಹಾಸದ ರೇಖೆಯಂತೆ ಪೂರ್ವ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕೆಂಪನೆಯ ಗೀರು ಮೂಡಿತು. ಅದು ಬೆಳಗಾಗುವ ಮೊದಲ ಗೆರೆ, ಮೊದಲ ರೇಖೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲ ಕ್ಷಣಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಎಂಬ ಲಯ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾಮಂಡಲದ ನಿದ್ರೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂತಹ ಅನಂತ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶೇಷ, ವಿಷ್ಣುವಿನ ಶಯನ ಅಂತ ಯಾವುದು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಅನಂತ ತನ್ನ ಉಜ್ವಲವಾದ ಫಣಾಮಣಿಗಳನ್ನ, ಹೆಡೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಣಿಗಳನ್ನ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕವಿ ಸಮಯ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಆ ಫಣಾಮಣಿಗಳನ್ನ ಧರಿಸಿ ಎಚ್ಚೆತ್ತ ಹಾಗೆ ಕೆಂಪಿನ ಕಾಂತಿಯಿಂದ ಪೂರ್ವ ದಿಕ್ಕು ಬೆಳಗತೊಡಗಿತು. ಆ ರಕ್ತಿಮೆಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಮಣಿಸುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಅನಂತನ ಶಯ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀಮನ್ನಾರಾಯಣ ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವರ್ಣಮಯವಾದ ಕಿರೀಟವನ್ನ ಬೆಳಗಿಸುವ ಹಾಗೆ ರವಿ, ಸೂರ್ಯ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಬೆಳಕನ್ನು ಕೊಡುತ್ತಾ ಮೇಲೆದ್ದ. ಆ ಬೆಳಕು ಕ್ರಮೇಣ ಹರಡಿದ್ದು ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು, ಭೂಮಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಹರಡುವುದು ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ರಾಗದ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತಿ ಆರಂಭವಾದಾಗ ಷಡ್ಜದ ಸ್ತರದಿಂದ ಕೋಮಲ ರಿಷಭ ಸ್ವರ ಹೇಗೆ ಮೆಲ್ಲಗೆ ಏಳುತ್ತೋ ಆ ತರ ಅದು ಬೆಳಕು ಕ್ರಮಕ್ರಮವಾಗಿ ಹರಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಜಗತ್ತಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲುತ್ತಾ ಜೀವನವೆಂಬ ರಾಗವನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಹೀಗಾಗ್ತಾ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಿರಣಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಂಜೆಲ್ಲ ಕರಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲವಾಯಿತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳುವುದು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥಾಂತರನ್ಯಾಸದ ಮೂಲಕ. ಈ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಪರೋಪಕಾರಿಗಳ ಗುಣವನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಆ ಮುಂಜಾನೆಯ ಬೆಳಕು ನಿಸರ್ಗ ರಮಣೀಯ, ಮೈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂಗಾರದ ನೀರನ್ನ ಎರಚ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ತೀಕ್ಷ್ಣವಾದ ಕಿರಣಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಬಂಗಾರದ ನೀರನ್ನ ಚೆಲ್ಲುವಂತಹ ಆರ್ದ್ರತೆ ಬಂದದ್ದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅವು ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ಬರುವಾಗ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಹರಡಿದಂತಹ ಮಂಜು ಇತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಆ ಮಂಜಿನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಬರುವಾಗ ಮಂಜು ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಹಿತವಾಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ತನ್ನ ಆರ್ದ್ರತೆಯನ್ನೇ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಿರಣಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಳುವಳಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ತನ್ನನ್ನೇ ತಾನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತು, ತಾನೇ ಇಲ್ಲವಾಯಿತು. ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸತ್ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನ, ಪರೋಪಕಾರವನ್ನ ಜಗತ್ತಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ತಮ್ಮನ್ನೇ ತಾವು ಅರ್ಪಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವರನ್ನ ಕಾಣುವುದು ತುಂಬಾ ವಿರಳ ಅಂತ ತಾತ್ಪರ್ಯ. ಸೊ In the next poem, I'll be reading that's about fruit seller girl. ಹಣ್ಣು ಮಾರುವವಳು. ಹಣ್ಣ ಮಾರುತ್ತಲಿಹಳು ಕಣ್ಣನೆತ್ತಲೋ ಚಾಚಿ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಣ್ಣನೆ ಮೈಯ ಬಣ್ಣಗಪ್ಪಿನ ಚೆನ್ನೆ ಇವಳು. ತನ್ನ ತನದಲ್ಲಿ ತಾನು ತಣ್ಣಗಿನ ಮನದಿಂದ ಸನ್ನೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವ ಕೊಡದೆ ಕಣ್ಣಳತೆಯೊಳಿರದೆ. ಹಣ್ಣ ಮಾರುತ್ತಲಿಹಳು ಕಣ್ಣನೆತ್ತಲೋ ಚಾಚಿ, ಕೊಳ್ಳುವರೆ ಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಬಿಡಲೆಂದು ಸಲ್ಲುವಂತಿರೆ ಮೌನ ಸಮ್ಮಾನವು. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ತಾನು ನಿಸ್ಪೃಹದ ನಗೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲುತ್ತಿರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೊಂದೊಂದು ಮಾತಿನವಳು. ಹಣ್ಣ ಮಾರುತ್ತಲಿಹಳು ಕಣ್ಣನೆತ್ತಲೋ ಚಾಚಿ. ಹಂಚಿ ಹರಡಿದ ಹಣ್ಣ ಮಿಂಚುಗಣ್ಣಲೆ ತಾನು ಮರಮರಳಿ ಎಣಿಸುತ್ತಲಿ, ಪತ್ತುಗಳೆಯುವ ಭಾರ ಬಗೆಯ ತಕ್ಕಡಿ ತೂಗಿ ಹೊರಹೊರಳಿ ಗುಣಿಸುತ್ತಲಿ. ಹಣ್ಣು ಮಾರುತ್ತಲಿಹಳು ಕಣ್ಣನೆತ್ತಲೋ ಚಾಚಿ. ಕವಿತೆಗಿಂಬನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇವಳಾವ ಕನಸುಗಳ ಮನದೊಳಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಕನವರಿಸುತ್ತಿಹಳೋ. ತನ್ನ ಮಾಗಿದ ಹಣ್ಣ ಕೊಳ್ಳುವರು ಯಾರೆಂದು ಕಂಡು ಕಾಣದ ತುಡಿತ ಇವಳಿಗೇನೋ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ವಿವರಣೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಕೋತೇನೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರಾತ್ರಿಯ ಮಳೆ. ಇದು ಪಂಚಮಾತ್ರೆ ಗಣಗಳ ಒಂದು ಸಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಹಾಗೆ ಓದಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಬಂತಿಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ನೋಡು ನಟ್ಟಿರುಳಿ ನಿಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಕತ್ತಲೆಯ ನೀರವತೆ ಜಿಟಿಲು ಜಿಟಿಲೆಂಬಂತೆ. ಆರೋ ಕಲಾವಿದನು ಕಪ್ಪು ನೇರಳೆಯನೇ ಪಥ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೌಕ್ತಿಕದ ವರ್ಣದೆಳೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಾನೆಳೆದಂತೆ. ಬಳಿದಂತೆ ತನ್ನಯ ಆನಂದಾನುಭೂತಿಯನು ಹರವಿಭೂತಿಯನು ತಳೆದಂತೆ. ಪರದೆಯನು ಸರಿಸುತ್ತ ಕಿಟಕಿಯಾಚೆಗೆ ನೋಡೆ, ಜರಿಲು ಜರಿಲೆಂದು ಸುರಿದಂಬರದ ಸಿರಿಯ ಧರೆಗೀವ ಪಾಂಗಂತೆ. ನಿದ್ರಾದೇವಿಯರ ಮನೆಗೆ ದೇವರುಗಳೊಪ್ಪಿಸುವ ಕಪ್ಪ ಕಾಣಿಕೆಯಂತೆ. ಆಕೆಯಾಳ್ವಿಕೆಯ ಮರಗಿಡಗಳೆಲೆ ಎಲೆಗಳ್ಗೆ ಮಣಿಮೌಕ್ತಿ ಕಂಗಳ ಆಭರಣ ತೊಡಿಪಂತೆ. ಕಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೊಸತನದ ಬೆಳಕೀವಂತೆ. ಕಾಣ್ಕೆ ಇತ್ತುದು ಕಾಣಬಾರ ಧರಾಂಗನೆಯ ಮನೆಯಂಗಳಕ್ಕೆ ನೀರ ಸಾರಣೆಯನಿತ್ತು. ಬೆಳಗಾಗುತು ಶಮಿ ಮೂಡಣದ ಕೆನ್ನೀರಿನಾರತಿಯ ಬೆಳಗುತ್ತ. ರವಿಯ ಬರವಿಂಗೆ ಸಂಭ್ರಮಿಪ ಪರ್ವಾವಕಾಶಕ್ಕೆ ತೋಷಕ್ಕೆ ಸಜ್ಜಾಗಿಸುವ ಪರಿಯ ನೋಡ. ಭಾದ್ರಪದ ಪಾಡ್ಯಮಿಯ ಚಂದ್ರನಭ್ಯುದಯೋತ್ಸವಕ್ಕೆ ಜೀವ ಜೀವಾಳಿಯನು ಹೊತ್ತ ತಿರೆಯತ್ತ. ತಾರಾಳಿ ಇಳಿದೈದುದೆಂಬಂತೆ ಹನಿ ಹನಿಯ ಮಿನುಮಿನುಗು ದಿಬ್ಬಣದ ಮಧುಮಗನ ಸುತ್ತೆಲ್ಲ. ನಲಿ ನಲಿವ ಚಿಣ್ಣ ರೋವಳಿಯ ತೆರನಂತೆ ನಲಿದತ್ತು ಹೊತ್ತಿರದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರದೆ ಬರುವಂತೆ. ಮನದ ಆನಂದ ಕಾರಣವ ಕಾಣದಲೆ ಕುಣಿದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಮುನ್ಸೂಚನೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೊತ್ತು ಗೊತ್ತಿರದೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಖುಷಿ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆನಂದ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ. ಆ ತರ ಈ ಮಳೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹೊತ್ತು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಕೊನೆಯದ್ದು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ಕಾವ್ಯಲಾಪ ಟೀಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಅಗೇನ್.
ಹಳೆಗನ್ನಡ ಕೇಳುವುದು ಬಹಳ ಅಪರೂಪ ಸರ್. ಈ ವಿರಳವಾದ ಶೈಲಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಈ ರಚನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. Now I would request Mr. Ranjan to recite his poems. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. After having heard Professor Rajaraman talk about the relationship with poetry, I quickly recurated my selection to address some of the issues that he rose and would be very relevant to what we're discussing here. The first poem I'm going to read is a short one. It's called Am I? Okay? And it goes like this. I think, therefore I am, because of my stories, of how I am, who I am, what I am, where I am, when I am, why I am. Without my stories, am I? I think not. I'll never know, because I never thought. The next one deals with one of the very relevant issues of time, which is loneliness, and the difference between being alone and being lonely. And the poem is called Alone or Lonely. When am I alone and when am I lonely? Me has oft asked I closely. Should I feel alone or lonely in outer space if I were to leave behind the human race? Should I feel alone or lonely in the universe when my last left kin journeys in a hearse? Should I feel alone or lonely in solitary confined till my crimes against the state are determined? Should I feel alone or lonely when my work creative finds no applause, no one appreciative? Should I feel alone or lonely while we're at supper? You're on your cell phone, our food turns to rubber. Should I feel alone or lonely? We've been mates in school, but now your ideology thinks me quite the fool. Should I feel alone or lonely, treated like the plague by godsends, exploiting friendship for their selfish ends? Should I feel alone or lonely when my mail or call to you seems trifling, replied with silence, quite baffling? Should I feel alone or lonely when my posts find no like, while your food porn in times of pandemic hits a million strikes? Should I feel alone or lonely that I'm selfie shy because the reality I choose not to falsify? I replies to me, of boredom or rock bottom, I've no fear. As long as with me you're here. You would alone or lonely be if I were uncongenial company. And the final poem is called Poems, Prisms, and Price. And it addresses the issue of, or the subject of who am I in relation to my poems. Okay? Poems, prisms, and price. I think I'm asleep. It's the middle of the night. Within the deepest recesses of my mind, a wellspring spurts to life. Thoughts jostling with each other in desperation, like suffocating bubbles rising to the surface to breathe and find their freedom. While I'm yelling, please queue up for heaven's sake. On other nights, a light switches on. A workshop springs to life, wherein I observe a jeweler strings thoughts plucked out of the firmament into a necklace of pearls, creating a new constellation in my night sky. Sometimes an extraterrestrial typesetter is frantically working to a deadline to get a publication to press. Most often, the mind is a furnace on fire, where a cosmic wordsmith is crafting contemplation into words like swords, some sharp, even double-edged, doing what swords do best, whittling fellow humans down to size. Others, blunt like butter knives, spreading it thick, making burnt toast look good. I awake in wonder. Who are these curious cerebral denizens? Where do they come from? Why are they working within? Who gave them permission? Because I certainly did not. I'm fast asleep. I'm clueless whence these thoughts issue, cocooned in the caverns of my mind from a time unknown, till on a day of their choosing, or rather night, they mature, impatient to take wing. Oh, what joy! To serve as a channel for the cosmos, to craft its conviction into expression. I don't feel the author, merely a prism, the conductor creating colors from cosmic light. But neither light nor colors can the prism possess. When strange celestial artisans apply my mind in their nocturnal workshop to wrought thoughts into words for no astronomical advance, for no publisher or Pulitzer, for the pleasure and privilege of sharing, to enkindle, invigorate, and excite, to be savored and appreciated. It is a currency beyond priceless. Are my thoughts and words even mine to claim propriety rights over? What chose me freely would no longer be free to share universally if enslaved and proclaimed exclusive by a prize, if traded like commodity for a price. What was never mine is not mine and will never be mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranjan sir. That was beautiful, and it's quite wonderful to be in the presence of so many poetic minds. Although I do not understand Kannada very much, I think we all agree that even if we don't know the language, the alliteration, the assonance, all the rhythm with which the poetry is being present, we can all enjoy it, and we all have. So now I would request any of you who has a comment or a question to please raise your hand so that we can take questions and comments. So we request you to please raise your hand to speak. If not, we would also like you to just put your comment on the comment box. Sangeeta ma'am, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I see Dr. Sindhushree also raised her hand, but but I think since Meera has given me the permission, perhaps I would say something. And this is not a comment, but just a few lines. It's to all of you, but I think I would specifically would like to share that with Mr. Ranjan, who shared such a beautiful poetry with us this evening. Without I and the me in I, can I tell a story to me? With me are all stories and the storyteller. Where are you? Tell me.
That's that's such a beautiful reflection on poetry, ma'am. So I would now request Sindhushree to say something.
Thank you so much for the organizers and Sangeeta ma'am for organizing this. And I'm actually very thankful that I cancelled a couple of appointments because all the 4 poets were, I would say, brilliant. And they connect, when I think about it in a more scientific manner, they had a very beautiful physics, like a line, red line, because I could hear when I speak about the first poet, Prem Kumar sir. I'm sorry that I didn't comment earlier. I needed some time to manage my thoughts. Our Prem Kumar sir ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಸಮಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಸಮಯದ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಅದು it made me it reminded me of my bachelor's physics lecture about relativity, where he said, the person who has experienced certain something about, the lecture was on relativity. Everybody knows Einstein's relativity, and the first example we get from our physics lecture is always the person who's experiencing it can only tell how fast or how slow the time is going. And our ಪದ್ಯ ಕೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ ಅದೇ ನೆನಪಾಗಿದ್ದು. ಈ ಸಮಯ ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಕೊರೋನಾದ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಮಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತು, ನಾವ್ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ, ನಾವ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಸಮಯ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಇಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಫೋನು ಅನ್ಸತ್ತೆ. ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಕೆಲ್ಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಏನ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ ಇನ್ನ ಮುಗಿತಿಲ್ವಾ ಅನ್ಸತ್ತೆ. So it was a very beautiful poem from him, and by Manas Chabra as well, about his this experiment with light, when he said I'm thinking he's speaking of the sky. I'm not sure, I might be interpreting that poem wrong. When he said she is red, I was imagining the sky going through the entire, like the color of the sky through the day. And coming to Neelkant sir, even his poetry in Halegannada was amazing. And I could imagine sitting here, I could imagine the beautiful right now, the weather in Bangalore or back at home. ಈ ಭಾದ್ರಪದ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟು because I could imagine the rain, how beautifully he narrated. I could imagine the rain. I could feel sitting at my window in my house and speaking to my mother. It gave me that beautiful imagination. And he also explained how the fog in the morning, some days, most of the time it will be in Dhanurmasat Samayadalli, December ali. You can actually see the fog raising up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and how the sky color, you can differentiate it. And that was again another beautiful, I would say, optics, like physics and optics connection. And at the end, sir, wait,
Mr. Ranjan.
Mr. Ranjan sir, I'm so sorry. His comment as well on who I am and what am I, this was a question that is regularly asked and regularly should be asked by everybody, and so that our ego doesn't get bigger than us. And he also made a very nice comment on crucible, that our brains are a furnace, are like a furnace. I remember reading this in a book by Sir Radhakrishnan in his book on Indian philosophy. He also describes our brains as furnace, and we should put our thoughts into the crucible of this furnace. So before we speak it out, please bake your thoughts in the crucible of criticism, he says. So criticize your own thoughts in your own furnace of a brain. That was a very beautiful statement, or put it in a form of poetry. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much for everybody. And of course, thanks to Preet and Meera for giving me the chance to speak.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sindhushri. That was very hearty comment from you, and beautifully you had incorporated both physics and poetry together. Like that's not something that we usually see. So thank you for that. Any other questions? Anybody would like to say something? We request you to please raise your hand so that we can just call you, or just put it in the chat box. As of now, I cannot see any questions. Even if there are any comments or suggestions or questions, please speak up.
Dr. Pushya wants to say something.
Yeah.
She's unmuted. Dr. Pushya, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say, I especially the last poem by Shri Ranjan, it was really so moving and so completely evocative, as I think, good poetry always is. And I mean, of course, I only understand, I think, the nuances of the English poem, unfortunately. But I think everything that you said, I mean, in terms of, the mind, one being just a prism, and how what has never been yours is not yours and can never be yours. I mean, that was really so profound. What an extraordinary note to finish on. And also the first, I thought it was just such a beautiful play on words about thought, wherein, without I am my stories make me, and my thought creates the stories. And then without my stories, then who am I? I don't think I can tell. The play between think and thought, thinking and stories, and how they play off each other, I thought again was so beautiful and real. So thank you so much, sir. And also Neelkanth sir's, though I did not understand Hale Kannada, nange ashtu artha agalla, ಬಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹಾಡಿ ಆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರಿ. ನನಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಹಾಸನದಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಬಂತು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗರುಡದ ಕಥೆ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಮಳೆದ ಕಥೆ ಆಗಿದ್ರು. ಆ ಮಳೆ ಬರುವಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಆನಂದ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತೇವೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ ಧನುರ್ಮಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫಾಗ್ ಬರೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಕಿಟಕಿ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂಡ್ ನೀವು ಹಾಡಿದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಸರ್. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. And thank you also to the organizers, Meera, Preet, and of course, ma'am, for this really beautiful opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Pushya. Now we have a question from Shiv Kumar. If he is here, could you please, would you like to share your video and also speak, sir? Shiv Kumar? Niharika, could you unmute him?
His video is still not turned on.
Okay. Shiv Kumar, sir, are you here?
I think you can start with the question, Meera. I'll just unmute the poets.
Yeah, sure. So I think this question might be to Mr. Prem Kumar, sir. The question is concept of infinity also Samaya? The question is concept of infinity also Samaya? So Prem Kumar, sir, would you like to say something about it? Niharika, could you unmute him, please?
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir. Now you're audible.
You mean infinity is also time? You want to?
Yeah, that is the question. Whether infinity is also a concept related to Samaya.
Yes, of course. It is also part of time. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಅಸೀಮ ಅನಂತ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎನಿ ಲಿಮಿಟ್. ಓಕೆ.
Okay, sir. Anything more you would like to say on that concept? Okay, Mr. Shivkumar is asking, infinity also time? Time is always bound by boundaries. So
no, time is not bound by boundaries of any levels. So it is infinity is also part of time. The ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅಸೀಮ ಅಂತ, ಈ ಸೀಮೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನೋ ಬೌಂಡ್ರಿ. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಗಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನೋ ಬಾರ್ಡರ್. In that spirit, I am telling that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. Amritavalli has a question. Amritavalli, would you like to ask it?
Thank you. My question was for Shriranjan sir, but of course all the poets here can ask. I wonder why questions form a part of our work. Why questions can feel so much more like a poem than, say, prose. I was wondering if Shriranjan sir can share a few thoughts on maybe his process. That first poem especially about am I alone or am I lonely? And should I, all of those lines started with should I. So is that how the poem came to you? Were you sitting and mulling and thinking, and those are the words that came out in the form of questions?
Yes, I think I always do think in questions. It's your left brain talking to your right, ego talking to id. So it's when you have no one else to engage with on the planet, it's you. So you have to ask your questions and you have to answer your questions. And I think it makes an entertaining engagement, especially in times if we're locked down, to be engaged in conversation with oneself. I think when you write prose, there's a tendency to want to declaim to the planet, to share in a more rigid framework. This is how it is, and I think poetry sort of is more conducive to the business of questioning and trying to find answers for yourself. It's a gameplay. And then you let other people into your gameplay, so you're thinking aloud for other people to hear. So that would be my response to your question.
Okay. Thank you, Ranjan sir. Any more questions or comments, anybody? Anyone, any more questions, comments, suggestions? Okay, I have a short comment to make. To Ranjan sir, your poetry, sir, I felt you had very daily life, sweet metaphors and allusions. Although it stood for very deep, profound feelings. So the connections that you made was at the same time both universal and very specific. So I thought that was a very beautiful way of helping us all relate to your poems so easily. And also with Manas Chabra sir's poem, I thought the first poem, especially the one in English about the colors, if we were to just look at the poem, it would not make a lot of sense to a lot of people who might not enjoy poetry or might not be, in the mood to interpret them so much, because it's just that she was looking at red and then she saw another color and then she wrote something else. So everybody would be like, what does that mean? So I think that actually calls for a poet's heart to understand the various metaphors of and all those things that each color would stand for. And that was very ingeniously done. So thank you so much for that as well, sir. So now I think okay, Shashikala Muniyappa has said time has no beginning and no end, as it is called Anadi and Ananta, but we frame it to our convenience. Yeah, that might be true, ma'am. Thank you. Would you like to say something more about it, ma'am? Okay, thank you, ma'am. So if we don't have any further comments or questions, may I please request Dr. Shankar Rajaram to give us a summary of the proceedings.
Thank you, Meera. The Indian tradition places a lot of importance on poetry. The joy that we get when we listen to poetry or watch a performance, aesthetic performance, is next just to the happiness that a yogi experiences, according to several Sanskrit poeticians and Indian aestheticians. And we have surely experienced such a joy today by hearing to the poems that were read out by 4 eminent poets. Kumar sir ಅವರು ಸಮಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪದ್ಯವನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸಿಂಧುಶ್ರೀ ಅವರು ಸುಮಾರು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಸಮರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. 2 ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ನೀವು ವಿಂಗಡಿಸಿದ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪದ್ಯವನ್ನ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾವ್ಯವನ್ನ. ಸಮಯದ ವಿವಿಧಾರ್ಥಗಳು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಸಮಯದ ಪರಿಪಾಲನೆಯ ಮಹತ್ವ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು 2ನೇ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅಂತ್ಯಪ್ರಾಸದಿಂದ ಕೂಡಿತ್ತು. ಅಂತ್ಯಪ್ರಾಸ ಇಸ್ ರೈಮ್ ದಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಚ್ ಲೈನ್. ನನಗೊಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೇಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು. ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬಂದು ನೀಡುವರು ಅವರು ನಿನಗೆ ಸಮಯ. The sun and the moon don't wait for time, but it is the sun and the moon that actually gift you time. ಆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರೇಸ್ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್. ನಂತರ then we have Mr. Manas Chabra who presented 3 poems. The first poem She, followed by the Hindi poem Khushi, which translates into happiness, I think so. There were certain ideas there which I liked a lot. She leaves a mark on the face. One of those lines translated into she leaves a mark on the face. She can be found only in childhood memories. Every evening is spent in finding her, and you must, when you come next time, you must stay a little longer. These are some ideas which I could catch when you were reading your poem. The third poem was Kal Ki Behari. I think I need a little more knowledge of Hindi to understand what it was. Next, coming to Neelakantha Kulkarni, ಅವರು 3 ಪದ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಓದಿದ್ರು. ಸುಧಾ ಸುಪರ್ಣೀಯಂ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಚಂಪು ಕಾವ್ಯದಿಂದ. ಚಂಪು is a traditional composition which combines both prose as well as poetry, and he described the dawn. ಪ್ರಭಾತವನ್ನ ವರ್ಣಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಪ್ರಭಾತ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅನೇಕ ರೂಪಕಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸಿದ್ರು, ಮೆಟಫರ್ಸ್. ಯೋಗಿಯ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಂತೆ ಗರುಡ ನೆಗೆದ. ಗರುಡ ಸ್ಪ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಯೋಗಿ. ಕಾಲಿಯ ಮಂದಹಾಸದಂತೆ ಒಂದು ರೇಖೆ ಮೂಡಿತು. ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೇ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸನ್ appeared in the eastern direction like a gentle smile on the face of Kali. ಪೂರ್ವದ ದಿಕ್ಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ರವಿ ನಾರಾಯಣನ ಮಕುಟದಂತೆ ಕಾಣಿಸಿದ. In the eastern direction, the sun appeared like the crown of Narayana. ಷಡ್ಜದಿಂದ ನಿಷಾದ, ರಾಗ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುವಂತೆ ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಬೆಳಕು ಹರಡಿತು. Just like a raga develops in phases, so did the sunlight spread everywhere. ಎರಡನೆಯ ಪದ್ಯ ಹಣ್ಣು ಮಾರುವವಳು ಮತ್ತು ನಂತರದ ಪದ್ಯ ರಾತ್ರಿಯ ಮಳೆ ಇವೆರಡು ಹಳಗನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೇ ವೇರ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಬಲ್. ಹಣ್ಣು ಮಾರುವವಳು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವಳ ನಿಸ್ಪೃಹತೆಯನ್ನ ನೀವು ಯು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದ ನಿಸ್ಪೃಹತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ವಭಾವೋಕ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು. ರಾತ್ರಿಯ ಮಳೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನಿದ್ರಾಂಗನೆಗೆ ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಕಾಣಿಕೆಯಂತೆ ರಾತ್ರಿಯ ಮಳೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಲ್ ನೆಕ್ಲೆಸ್. The downpour at night looked like a pearl necklace that was presented by people to the goddess of sleep. ಹೀಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸುಂದರವಾದಂತಹ ಪದ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ವಾಚನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. Then we have Ranjan Kamath sir, who read out 3 poems. I think I need to spend more poems. I think every line of his poem, his 3 poems were artha garbita, full of lot of suggestions also. I think I need to spend a lot of time reading them in my leisure. The first poem was Am I, and the refrain there was I am what I am because of my stories. The second poem was on loneliness, and here to the refrain was when am I alone and when lonely. And the third poem was Pearls, Prisms and Price. And I like few phrases there, thoughts springing like bubbles, and I asked them to queue up. Cerebral denizens used for thoughts, and are my thoughts ever mine to claim propriety rights? And as I commented earlier, I need to spend more time to catch every phrase of his beautiful poems. So with these, I end my comments and request Mr. Preet to give the vote of thanks and also suggest about future programs.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shankar, for those wonderful comments. On behalf of Team Kavyalap and CSB, we would like to thank today's poets, Mr. L.P. Kumar, Manas Chhabra, Neelakanta Kulkarni, and Mr. Ranjan Kamath for being on board with us and sharing their wonderful works and making our evening even more beautiful. We would like to thank Professor Sangeeta Menon, the Head of Humanities, the National Institute of Advanced Studies, for constant love and support. Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to tell our next session is Kavyalap Vaishistya on the 4th of August by Shukla, who is a renowned scholar and poet of Sanskrit and Persian languages and has published several Sanskrit Persian collections of poetry, a recipient of Presidential Award and Kalidasa Sammana. Dr. Balram Shukla will be introducing us to the mesmerizing world of Persian poetry, and we are looking forward to all of you attending this session on the 4th of August. And we also request interested participants to share their works with us for the upcoming Kavyalap Vaividya sessions. Thank you so much, one and all, for being with us today.